We're going to go ahead and get started. A few more people might join, but we're here to provide information today about the Japan IMF Scholarship Program, which I'm sure you all know that that's why we're here. But just to make sure, this is the program for people who have Japanese citizenship. If you're Japanese, then great, you're in the right place. If you are an international student looking to get a scholarship to study in Japan, then you don't need to be here. This is not the scholarship for you. I'm Marcy Kobayashi, and I'm one of the outreach coordinators here in Japan, although today I'm in the US. I'm usually in Japan. And I work with Mitsuko Kumagai, who is also on the call. And we are the ones who are responsible for putting information out in Japanese on the website, on social media, or if you have questions about the program and you're writing in Japanese, you're going to hear back from us. And just a minute, I need to let someone else in. There we go. Uh, so today we're going to be using mostly English for this presentation, but if at any point you'd like to ask a question in Japanese, it's okay. And you can interrupt us and ask a question. You just need to raise your hand or put a question in the chat. And of course, if you don't understand something, it's okay. 日本語でも大丈夫です。もう手挙げてチャットに書き込んでもどっちでも大丈夫です。And but I'm going to go back to English. So I know that some of you have submitted questions in advance, and hopefully we can answer all of them in the presentation. But if not, we'll have time at the end to answer questions too. And also, I want to assure you from the beginning that no one here is part of the screening committee. So any questions that you ask, it's okay. It's not going to affect your application. So you can just relax and just ask and talk freely. It's okay. And I would like to hand it over to Marielle, who is from IIE, and she's going to do a brief introduction about IIE and the program, and then we'll get into the questions. Okay, so it's all yours, Marielle.
Very nice to meet everybody. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. I know that we had a little brief introduction earlier, so we've got people who are here early in the morning, late in the evening, and at the perfect time in the afternoon. It seems like the perfect time in the afternoon for those of us in the US. So welcome, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and get some slides up, and then that way we can kick off the presentation. I'm going to hope to cover as much of the program as far as what it's about, the journey of a Japan-IMF applicant, and then answer some questions. So as Marcy mentioned, I work at IIE, and that's the Institute of International Education. And we work together, not only with Marcy and Mitsuko, but also with the IMF. And we've been, it's been several years that we've been working with this program. So we partnered with IMF in 1996, and we had over 250 students, so far more than that, who were awarded scholarships towards the doctoral studies. And historically, our scholars were from 17 different countries throughout Asia. But in 2009, the scholarship became exclusively for Japanese nationals. And what you're seeing on the screen here are these are scholars that were awarded in, I believe it's the 2023 cycle. And as I mentioned, IIE has also a great history. We've been around since 1919. Technically, IIE was founded in 1919, so we have over 100 years of experience implementing international education programs. We work on over 200 programs in more than 180 countries. And that's what you see here on the slide. We're promoting higher education for an international exchange. And some of our programs help to develop and implement many of the world's effective and prestigious scholarships and training programs, such as Fulbright, Schwarzman Scholar, Quad Fellows, if anyone knows of that one. IIE also helps governments and foundations and corporations develop an educated workforce and also to prepare students and professionals to succeed in the global economy. And IMF is one of those programs that IIE works with. We've done a lot of things for a long time, and we have several offices, as you can see, throughout the world. Since 1996, IIE has partnered with the IMF, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to now move down to a little bit more about the program. And what you see here is a group that was selected, I believe, also in 2023. They went to the part of the program has everyone meet once you're selected. So this is one of the meetings that you get to go to, and that's where you meet your cohort and the IMF, and you get to go into Washington, D.C. So this was that picture that you see here. And I'll now dive into, I'm going to go, let's see, there we go. I'm going to talk a little bit about the program, and what you're looking at right here is why apply. But basically, we're going to do the journey of the applicant. So the Japan IMF program, technically known as JISP, is a 2-year program intended to help Japanese nationals obtaining PhD degrees in macroeconomics and preparing them to work as economists at the IMF. The scholarship is funded by the government of Japan and administered by the IMF's Capacity Development, ICD. That's the abbreviation. You may hear of that from time to time. And that's with assistance of us at IIE. And as you see on the screen here, it says that this is a unique opportunity to participate in a program designed to train Japanese nationals as applied economists who work for the IMF. It is. This is a very unique program. Up to 7 scholarships typically are awarded, maybe 8 from time to time. So it's very competitive. And it's awarded to everyone who's got that high academic achievement. So we know that success is something that you all, as applicants, are already bringing to the table. It's a very unique but a very specific program. So the cohort is small, and as you saw in the picture earlier, and this was the orientation that I was mentioning. It's a small group, so you get to know your cohort, and basically, once you're done with the program, you get to become a group that's even larger, over 250 people, and that's the alumni group. So as you can see on the bullets here, the scholarship basically covers the full university tuition, medical insurance, a monthly living allowance, and travel expenses. The benefits are incredible. You have a paid internship at the IMF, and you also get to attend seminars and any of those related economics forums or anything else that helps to build your program and expose all of the applicants once they are selected, expose you to the world within IMF. So there are a lot of benefits there. And one of the other perks is the consideration for the Economist program. And if you are familiar with that at all, it's a wonderful opportunity. This comes more towards the end of the program. So again, not only is it a prestigious opportunity to work at the IMF, but to have the experience of an internship where you work with an economist, and that's based on your major. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but typically you are matched with someone, whether you are in macroeconomics and finance, public finance, monetary economics, international economics. Um, you will likely be paired with someone in your major for the internship, and then you are encouraged to apply to the economist program. And should you have the opportunity to be offered a position for that program, it's one that it we hope that you do take advantage if you do get to that point. And here are some of the program benefits. And again, you see our cohort here, and that's at the orientation in Washington, D.C. And well, I'll start with the award tuition and stipend. We mentioned that briefly. So if anyone has any questions later on, we're happy to answer it. But there's something great about having the award and tuition stipend, but even better, knowing that it's for the 2 full years of funding that you'll have that, and that um, the expenses are paid. And you'll be participating for 10 to 13 weeks for the summer internship, and that's also fully paid. So if that helps to put things into perspective as far as the financial side of it. But the path to employment at IMF is one that is highly uh, important. When you're in the program and you're doing not only meeting people when you go in the orientation and doing your work, but also the internship. And if you get to apply for the economist program, you're building a network. And the path to employment is something that is expected. So if once you complete the program, you'll be offered the position at the IMF, and it's expected that you will be working there. So that's part of the requirement and a benefit. And then, as you see at the bottom of that little square with the people in it, the alumni group, which I mentioned, is over 250 plus. And we've been going strong with the alumni group for 25 years. And we have people from all around Asia, not just Japan. That's something very special and unique to this particular program. Japan-IMF program is, again, so exclusive in a sense where it's a small group that you are selected to participate with for the time, the 2 years that you're funded, but also the network that you're building, and being at the end of the program included as an alumni part of this group is a great way to build your network and meet even I would say it even more people within your industry, and that's something that is one of the best benefits. It's so good to know people everywhere around the world, and especially as economists or people who are so into economics, that's something that's super special and unique. It's almost like when you get your first subscription of The Economist as somebody who is enthusiastic about economy. You get so excited, and when you have people around, there's nothing more special than that. And so now I'm going to change a little bit of the topics and go into our eligibility requirements. I know that this is a concern for many people. So if at any point in time you can put in your questions in the chat while I go down the list here, but really just highlight the requirements. As you all know, you have to be a Japanese citizen, Japanese national, pursuing the advanced degree in economics at one of the top universities outside of Japan. As Marcy said, if you're looking to travel to Japan, this is not the scholarship for you or the program. Must be interested in pursuing a career at either the IMF or in your home administration. However, if you do not take the position at IMF, then the funding will need to be repaid. And you must be able to complete your PhD by the age of 34. And now I'll just drill down into the online application requirements. Basically, this is where we're going to move after this PowerPoint. I'm going to go on to demonstrate the application itself. So I'll give you a brief run through. You're required, obviously, to fill out the application portion, but then there are components that are required. Without these, we cannot accept the application. And that includes an essay component. A lot of the writing will be where you spend most of your time. So you'll have a personal statement that you have to complete. You have 3 essays that you'll need to also complete, and they all revolve around the macroeconomics in your majors and your desire to apply and why for this program. And we'll need all your post-secondary transcripts as well, copy of one of your applications to the PhD program, and you need to have 2 recommendations from 2 different referees. And this is where it's important that you think about who you're going to select for your reference. We want to make sure that your referee knows you and is aware of what the Japan-IMF program is about. So make sure that when you're selecting someone, they know about this program and they know you very closely. And I say that because the recommendation is a major factor with the selection committee. So the selection committee is going to review not just the application, but they're going to read all of the essay components, whether it's the 3 essays about macroeconomics or your personal statement and learning about your career goals. You have to think about how to present yourself in different ways. And one of those includes your 2 different recommenders. So these are crucial components and they will be heavily considered. And then the transcripts and any of the other supportive documents, like the copy of your application for the PhD program. If you see at the bottom here, GRE and TOEFL or IELTS scores, we included some information in advance that we hope is helpful. That the TOEFL and IELTS, if you're fluent in English or completed your undergraduate degree in English, then that's something that you don't necessarily need to submit. And in the application, this is not mandatory. And that's also something to consider if you didn't complete your undergraduate degree in English or in an English speaking institution. You should share that if English isn't necessarily something that you're very fluent in. And I'm going to get down to the last slide before I move to the demonstration, and trying to just make sure that I think of anything else before I jump into, here's the deadline, November 30th, 2025. But I guess for me, I want to make sure that you all walk away understanding that whether you're in macroeconomics, finance, public finance, monetary economics, political economy, econometrics, or something that isn't mentioned on our website, don't hesitate to apply as long as it's within the scope, if it's not necessarily listed. If you have any questions, always reach out to us with any question. We rather that we're here to support you and help you out in completing the application by the deadline so that you never feel like you can't do this. It's better to give it 100% and go for it and try than to leave anything out. And that means leaving out your application. We want you to apply and put your best foot forward and give it a go, because there are only 7 spots technically. Once in a while, we'll have more people who will be able to compete and then also get selected to the review and then actually make it into the program. So if anything that you take away today, it's please be inspired to give it 100% and go for it because it's a great opportunity and it's so competitive and it's so unique and we are so excited to just have you here today to let you know about this because once upon a time we didn't do webinars and we didn't have access to you and here we are. So I hope that you're able to take away not just information, but a little bit of inspiration. And I know that you're able to see some of us here on the screen, not me right now, but shortly. And that alone is a unique moment in time. So I'm going to now close this out and then I'll get into the demonstration. This is how to apply. And you can do that on iie.org. I'm sure that you all know the website already. And deadline is November 30th. So this is a time to get your questions in. If you don't get them in right now at the webinar, you can always ask us and email us as well. And let me just...
Have you all started an application? Yeah, you've gotten some have opened it. I don't qualify, but I started an application. I do every year. I log in to see if there's any changes. And if you haven't, I recommend that's one thing that you do right away is start it. You just need your email address and a password to be able to start the application, but to just see what all the sections are because there's a lot. There's a lot of writing, but you can go through it little by little by little and finish the areas. You don't have to do it all at once. But as you're filling out the sections, make sure you hit save. And I think that Marielle could probably show us where to save. Did you pull up my application?
Varsity
Yeah.
application.
I don't qualify, but
And it's a lot of fun when we see each other's applications. We've done several of the webinars, and I think we have had a few. But this is it. This is just a quick example of what your application will look like. It might look different on your screen because this is a test, but you'll have the welcome screen. So here's where you get the basics. That's what I basically talked about for a few minutes. So sorry if it's repetitive, but we want to make sure that all of the information is available at hand wherever you are at the point of this application. And one thing to know is when you're working on this, it does time out. So making sure that it's saved and it does auto save, by the way. It's just, we want to make sure that when you're doing any of the data entry, that you're able to check that as you go so you don't lose anything. There is a save option. So this is the welcome page if you haven't seen it already. And we do have a data privacy that we need you to click on, review, and respond to. By clicking continue, you also are saving and moving to the next section of the application. This is eligibility. This is already pre-done. So I'm just going to breeze through this because you'll click through it on your own. So there's ways to navigate it by clicking on the continue, which again does auto save for you. And then this is the personal and personal information. So this is for you to fill out carefully. If there's something that you need here that you're not finding, please let us know. You can always email and ask us for help. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on the next section, which is your academic history. So here is where you would put your transcripts. And it's basically a click and add. So you'd just go on in here and add your data as you would with a typical application. And then you would upload your file, and then here's where you would save. If everybody can see that, there's a little save button at the bottom left. So as you go, that's really the most important place to click save is within the data building portion of the application. And then you have your academic achievements. This is your data entry portion. And as you see the questions here, you'll be listing your scholarships, fellowships, any academic honors, teaching experiences,
And
and
I'm sure you all know this, so I don't need to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway, that whenever you have those pages where there's the fields with sections to put a lot of content, you it's a good idea to have written that content in a Word doc or Google Doc or someplace else and then copy and paste it over so that you have it just in case it doesn't save properly. So I know people have had a problem with that before, and I, I
right.
know I don't need to say that, but just saying it anyway, hopefully saving some trouble later.
Yeah, thank you, Marcy. That's an important note. It's always good to have that documented and backed up, so you can do that on however it is that you guys build those components of your application and save it. Um, we do hope that you don't go through any glitches, but we do have the solar flares, as I always like to say. Blame it on the solar flare if there's a glitch, but these things do happen. So one other feature I'll show you at the end, I hope that I can pull that up, is a proof reading component that the application offers so that you can see all of your information once it's saved before you submit your application. But having it aside, as Marcy mentioned, is very important and very wise. So here's the employment history. This is, again, you'll click and you'll add and upload, and you'll be able to, this should autosave. As you can see here, you're going to be prompted whether something is optional or required. In this section for the employment history, all of these fields are going to be required. So you will have to add your employment information as you see here. And then again, you'll be able to save at the bottom left. And then you'll have to upload any documents that are related to the employment. If you have, and here it's the resume. And if you have any questions, do let us know if you're going through the application and you have any questions at that time. Not necessarily right now, then we're happy to help you at any point in time. And this is the language section. It's not too in depth. It might be intimidating for a minute, but it's not, it shouldn't be. And it's just basically selecting from the drop down. And that's pretty much the easiest part of this application. This is where you're going to spend some time writing. So we have here the study plan. The study plan section, um, you'll have to click, drop down, and enter data as well. And you'll have your prompts here. Everything is going to be in English. And this is where you'll be spending majority of your time. So we want to make sure that you're putting some thought into this. Uh, what you write here is going to be reviewed by the selection committee. And we want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. So take your time writing it offline, if you will, as Marcy mentioned, so that you can build it here and not have the application time out because that can happen. So we have the prompt here, and we ask for you to tell us about some of your other scholarships. That's going to have some of the writing component there. But here's where you spend a lot of time, and we'll always tell you about how many words that you can put in here. So when you if you're going to copy and paste, make sure that you're aware of the maximum word count. And this is the first essay question. And then you have your second, and it will tell you at the bottom how many. So these are 400 words maximum. And then you have your third. So as you can already see, we're talking about macroeconomics, and we want to get to know you. Please put some time into this as far as how you can tell your story and answer the question to the best of your ability so that you're not writing the same thing over and over and it doesn't sound like it's just a repetition. Try to make each one unique if you can. And then we have your study research objectives. So here's, again, the limit, the word a maximum. I was going to say limit, but it's 150 words. This is a little brief compared to the 400 words. And this is pretty much, I would say that if you get this done first, you don't necessarily have to do them from top to bottom. If you want to start with your study research, that's fine. And you can save this so that you can come back. That's fine too. If it's easier to start with less words and to get a little bit of a warm up, or you can do this offline and then go ahead and upload your document because for this component, this one's an upload. So you'll upload your study research objective and your test scores. These are optional. So if you notice, I mentioned about the TOEFL and the IELTS and the GRE. This section is optional. And again, it'll let you know what the requirement is for those who will benefit from uploading or including their scores. And this is where you will enter your TOEFL and your GRE scores, and then you'll answer just that brief questionnaire there. This you're not going to be graded on or judged on. And then you'll click continue once that data has been filled out. I think that should be the most stressful part of the application. And once you're done with that part, this is where the fun begins with your recommendations. We also let you know here a little bit with the instructions of what we're looking for. So most of these sections, if not all of them, are going to provide you with the similar guidelines that we gave you here today, but we'll also try to make it a little bit more detailed. So we hope that you're entering the application world for the Japan-IMF program with confidence. And if you need anything, again, our email is everywhere here for you to click and just send us a question. Here's where you add your recommender. So if you click on this, you'll go ahead and you'll pick from the drop down, enter their information, and then we, with the email entered, so we always want to make sure that you have the correct email here, they immediately are sent, as you see at the bottom here, so send to recommender. First, you can hit send, but I would hit save and send. And then that way you'll make sure that you save the data and you're sending it to the recommender. So they'll get a prompt right away. And then you have the signature. This is where you start getting to the end of the application. You'll make sure that you read all of the steps that are necessary. And then you have your review. And the review component will flag anything that you're missing. So we don't want you to be alarmed, but this is the best thing in case something's missing. And this is where you get to see, oh, I forgot to fill out this part of the application. So we want to make sure that application is complete so that it's ready for review and you're able to compete with all of the candidates. A complete application is very necessary. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. So take the time to hit the review button before anything so that you know if you're missing something. If something lights up that says it's not a required field, please notice the difference. When something is required for the section, it will say required field or error. So this means something is missing or not entered or uploaded properly. If you see the section here where it says they've detected a potential problem, that means that information is missing from a section that may not necessarily be a required field. So the only thing that I would see is if you're not going to upload your test scores, and you see that here, test scores are missing. So that's going to be highlighted as a warning. And here's where you submit the application at the bottom, or you save it for later. So this way you can come back. So at any point in time when you're working with your application and you're not done with it, I would advise going straight down to the review, click your review, and don't be alarmed at the sections that you're still working on because you want to come back and save this for later and click save for later. Once you're completely done and you're ready, here's the proof that I mentioned earlier. So you would click on this hyperlink to see the application sections. And this is where you get to review what you've put together, what you've uploaded, and then click return to go back to your application. So that's that. I hope that's helped a little bit. For those who already started their application, that's nothing, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's familiar. But if you haven't, I hope it's not too overwhelming. And I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions before I go and read out some questions that we got emailed to us? Great. So a few people sent in their questions, so I'll just read them. I'll do my best. So if my eyes go down, please know I'm awake. I'm not going to sleep. It's not as late as our friend who's in Germany right now. Let's see. Is a desire to work at the IMF in the future one of the requirements for applying for the scholarship? I would love to see if anyone here would like to answer that. Anybody? Yes, uh, it is one of the requirements. And again, if you are selected for the program and you do change your mind and you don't, then the funding does have to be repaid. That's the only caveat.
And what happens if you want to work for the IMF, but you don't get offered a job?
Uh, that's something that in the moment would be best handled with a conversation with the people at the IMF that you've been interning with,
Mhm.
finding out what else is available, if there's
Okay.
anything else at that moment would be the right thing to do. I think that's
Okay.
natural for everyone, right? You would say, well, I don't want to leave yet. And you really are inspired. That's a great
Yeah.
moment to reach out to your mentor, the person that you were assigned to during your internship, and ask questions. Always ask.
Does everyone get offered a position?
That I've known most people have. I don't think that there's been a reason not to.
Okay.
Again, we are in a world where shifts occur
Mm.
in a minute, but for the most part, I mean, you have 250 alumni, and all of them, you can read about some of them that are on the website right now. Uh, with they're all here with IMF, or at least had some experience working with them. So if they're not there at this moment, so it's been a successful program, especially the EP program. So the that's something that I know a lot of people have really been delighted about. I'm gonna read the next one unless we have one question. Don't be shy. No. All right, great. How
Really? Really? You guys don't have questions? Serious? I'm the only one asking the questions and I'm not applying. Come on.
Well, I have one here, and again, everyone's going to know this one, but if I'm seeking a PhD in something other than macroeconomics, what are the related fields, or what would the related fields be? Um, and I guess for your reference, we have a lot of this already on the website. Macroeconomics is what we want in this case, but you are all familiar at this point with the fields that are still really relevant of econometrics, international trade. I don't think we've had anything as far as any applicants who didn't fit the bill. In other words, they didn't fit what we're looking for because this is so unique that already, if you know about this program and you're applying, it's because you're already somebody who's got some of the qualifications. Um, Yeah, and there are many topics within macroeconomics, um, but I don't know if there's any other particular research area that anybody might have a question about that may be considered different or new, but most of them are, if they're relevant for the Japanese economy uh, in current day time, then yeah, that's something that you should feel confident in applying if I haven't mentioned it or if it's not on the website. Um, I think that's basically one of the questions that we always get, but it's the same answer all the time. And then, are there any common characteristics, such as skills or personality traits, shared by past successful applicants? And I think a passion for IMF is one of them, believe it or not. But then also, the traits that we've always seen is mostly male. So we have a lot of male applicants and a very small pool of female applicants, if that helps answer the question or bring some insight that maybe you didn't know. And then I have another question. If anyone doesn't have one now, any hands? Okay, great. I would like to know more about the intangible benefits of the program other than the internship or orientation. So, the best thing that I can say about this program is, and I got the chills, is for a small community that is the economics community or the economy enthusiasts is what I was trying to say. It is a tight knit group because that's just the nature, and it's also something that we really don't see too much on the world stage as far as when you're in college or after college. It's not something that is really something put up on a pedestal, put out in the media, other than very exclusive and precise, guided information that people are looking for. Maybe a little bit more now because our world's changing. So we really get more access to information about economy, but specific to Japan, that's something that you don't normally see. So having the network of uh, people who are in the alumni group who went through this program and are Japanese nationals and are working in their field and worked with the IMF or are still working there, that's something that for me, I can't say enough is the benefit. And I know it goes back to internship orientation, but it's that connection. It's the network of people that are supportive, that you're learning from, that you get to learn and even create possibly with in the future. So much is changing in economics itself. It's getting a little bit more exciting for people, and I don't know if you will all agree with me, but there's so much, and even within economics in Japan, there's a lot of potential there and a lot that's necessary. And if anybody disagrees with me, please tell me. But having this opportunity is something that I wouldn't let pass me by. So I hope that helps answer your question. Anybody want to add to that? If you've been on our website, if you've been on the Japan IMF website for the program on the IMF webpage, been tinkering through social media and read something, or know anybody that also is applying that isn't here with us today? I see somebody doing this.
Well, I know that I'm not the one that you were thinking that you wanted to say something, but I'm going to say something is that the question about whether there are collaborations between former scholars or not. And I, I can't remember the name of the professor at the moment, but I remember last year when we were visiting in Tokyo with several of the universities where there are professors who regularly recommend students to this program and or professors who have been involved in the program themselves. And they mentioned that they have collaborated with their fellow cohorts, the people that they were in the program with at the same time. And that's really exciting to see years and years later, some people who are working at the IMF, some people who are now working in other jobs, and they're still communicating and still doing projects together. So I don't have the specifics on that, but I have heard about it. I have seen it on the website, the Japanese website. We do have an example of one of them, but it does happen. So, and I hope that we can report about that more. I'm sorry I don't have more specifics, but it is a real thing.
Yeah, that is. And we've also heard of some great research projects that have made an impact. So that's all I've got for you all. If you don't have any other questions.
Oh, I would like to ask about one thing. Um, so I would like to know more about the internship opportunities. What will the applicants do during the internship, or what opportunities the applicants can obtain or experience at the IMF?
Well, I know that ICD usually handles post selection, so I'm just going to go with what I've learned, and that's that let's say you are selected for the program and you're at that orientation, and that is going to come up. It's what internships entail, but opportunities are usually aligned based on they try to align it based on your major, so and what your goals are. So if your work are you, let's say, do you envision a research project, the specific one already?
Oh, yeah. So I have some like
Hmm.
research interests or like
Okay.
the areas I want to seek. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So let's say you get selected, and that this is during the interview portion, because the fall here for the application is this is the season for applying. But then from winter to spring is the selection process. So your application gets reviewed, but then you get called for the second phase, and there is a process where you will be likely interviewed uh, before you get selected. So that's where you probably will be asked something along those lines of what you're seeking. Uh, and I know from what I've learned is that from other alumni and from hearing back from people who attended the orientation, uh, that it's working with I'm just gonna say mentor, but the person that you're assigned with for the duration of the internship, that is your greatest benefit and the greatest learning. There's just so much that you can do. If you're focused on a research, you'll be doing that so you gain the benefit of that. But then you have a relationship with someone that is your guide. And you could have then doors open for more than one person within that specific internship program because you'll be meeting other people as well. Uh, am I getting close to answering your question? Did I miss anything?
Oh no, thank you very much.
Okay, great. It's always the unexpected one-on-one human relationships within this opportunity that I think provide you with so much more layers of learning. You've got the technical that you'll be doing on your PhD program. You've got the internship that, oh God, you're going to be doing work, which is great, and you're going to be learning. But then you also have that dynamic of another person that has been through an experience, has done this, has worked with other applicants who made it that far. So there's a veteran there for you who can show you some of the ropes, but also they'll provide you with something that is just it's intangible, but it's a golden opportunity that you're going to learn from. And I know it sounds a little bit like, oh, she's saying all the stuff, but it's something that you already know just from your experience now in your studies and working with teachers and professors. So it's the same thing, but the most important thing is for you to leverage that. And that means asking the questions, being interested, uh, never being afraid to ask, to push a little bit more for what you might want to learn if you're not getting that. And I hope that helps.
Can I ask? So are you saying that the internship opportunities are tailored to the students' research?
Um, I'm saying that there's an opportunity for that. They're not
Okay.
always guaranteed because they
Okay.
are internship programs and it has to work with the person that you'll be assigned to work with,
Okay.
or where you'll be assigned to work with. But I know that it's considered
Mhm.
by the IMF. That's why the application has to be obviously as detailed, especially with the writing, because they need to get to know you, who is going to be a best fit for you and who you will be a best fit for are things that are already considered at that
Mm.
stage.
Um,
So that's why it's important. I can't promise anything, but I know that that's the consideration, and it's something that the IMF values. It's something that they pride themselves on. It's the It's something that they bring. It's a quality that I can't speak to because I haven't been there, but they've done a very good job over and over. Uh, can't promise you that it'll be everything exactly
mm.
what you want, but sometimes it does work out. Again, things change all the time, but being able to put yourself in the application with as clearly as strong as possible as far as who you are, what you're looking for, answer the question uh, as best as you can, but make sure you're answering that question so that it's easy for them to read it and almost get to know you and want to go to the next level of the application and selection cycle. Thank you. Anything else? Any other questions? Well, we're almost at time. This is incredible. All right. Well, I have no other questions that I could think about myself. Um,
Every time we've done one of these webinars, we pull the questions and we keep adding them to the Japanese website. So if you want to go and look at the FAQ page on the Japanese website for the scholarship, you'll see them there, all the questions that have been asked. And so even the ones that we talked about today, in a few weeks, we'll make sure that those are up there. And later, I'll take this video and edit it out so that the personal names and faces aren't there, but we'll have your questions and the presentation there, and I'll put that up on YouTube and share it with you all. But if after this is over, you realize, oh, I do have a question. Oh, I wanted to ask that. Then, of course, you can ask one of us, and I will put in here. You've already joined this webinar, so you already know how to find us, but here are the two email addresses. One is if you're wanting to ask in English is the first one, and the second one you can ask in Japanese. It's okay either way. And I just want to encourage you all, if you haven't already, to start your application, reach out to your recommenders as soon as possible. You don't have to wait till you get to the end. Start doing that today. Make sure they have enough time. They need time to think about what to say about you also. And I really hope that I get to find out someday that one of you has, or all of you have applied and been accepted. That would be great. Maybe someday we'll be seeing you as alumni. I'm putting that intention out into the universe. That would be really cool. So I'm wishing you all luck. Just get started. Get started on your application. Don't wait until the end. Do a little bit every day. You know the Japanese saying that keizoku wa chikara nari, right? So just get started a little bit today and do a little bit, little bit, little bit. Don't wait until the last minute, okay? All right. Any other last parting words? All
Good luck,
right.
everybody. Yeah, good
Good
luck.
luck. Good luck.
I
Have a good
can't wait to see your
night.
applications. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Have a
night, good
great
afternoon, good
day, good
morning. Yeah.
afternoon, good morning. Get some sleep. And I look forward to seeing you all as alumni someday.
Like you.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. Okay.
Bye-bye.